probably in about 2 weeks, it'll be online. And it'll be well
You are now listening to the IELTS podcast. Learn from tutors, course examiners who are masters of IELTS preparation. Your host, Ben Worthington.
Hello, IELTS podcast listeners. This episode is really special because I've got a successful student who's going to share how he passed the IELTS. So his name is Joe. Welcome to the podcast, Joe.
Hi, Ben. Fine.
Hello there, yeah. So, Joe, can you tell us a bit about yourself, your situation, why you decided to take IELTS?
I'm taking IELTS because I want to apply for immigration to Australia, and I need 10 points for English. So I need 7 on each topic or each section in IELTS.
Mm-hmm. I see. Okay, and where are you based now? Are you in Australia?
No, I live in Beirut, in Lebanon.
Right. Okay. And are you close to finishing the immigration process, or is there still some distance to go?
The immigration process is very long because I'm an engineer and I applied for migration skill assessment, and I've already got the positive answer from them. So the only points that is still pending is IELTS.
Right. Okay. Now then, so have you taken IELTS before?
I took it just once in February, and I succeeded in listening and reading, but writing and speaking were my weak points.
Right, I see. What did you get in each section the last time you took IELTS? The first time, in February.
I got 6.5 in both writing and speaking, but without so much preparation. I prepared just for about 2 weeks.
Oh, okay, that's pretty quick.
Yeah.
Okay, I see. And then you took it again, didn't you? A couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, but Ben, I didn't try to fix right away an exam and to rush because I know that to jump, there is no magic. You have to prepare a lot in IELTS to jump from a grade from even 0.5 band is you need to work very much on yourself.
Yes.
So I fixed my exam 3 months later, and it was in June. So I tried in the beginning of this period to focus on my weakness because I noticed that my weak point was grammar, not vocabulary, because I had many problem of grammar. So I got a book of grammar which is very important for it. I don't know, you want me to say its name?
Tell us, please.
It's English Grammar in Use. I don't know if you know it, by Cambridge.
Of course, yes. This is the Bible for all English teachers. It's, and like, I think it was, I don't know, a podcast years ago I did with a tutor. She recommended this book. And by the way, students, you can either buy the physical book, maybe on Amazon, but you can also usually find a version on Scribd, which is scribd.com. So if you put Scribd, and you can find a PDF version there, download it. So tell us, what did you do with this book to improve your...
Actually, Ben, I've downloaded it at the beginning, and I started to read it I printed out the older book, and so it was easy for me to get it. But I like it so much, so now I've bought it because I like to keep it.
Fantastic.
a brand new copy without touching it even, just to be there in the library. So that's it. But it's
Genius.
it's very important because you don't get boring while reading grammar, because on each page you have plenty of examples and pictures. I'm a visual learner, so I like pictures. So it's very important. And
Interesting.
nice. Yeah.
So what did you do? Like, can you tell us how you used the book? Because you were preparing for 3 months, 3 entire months, yeah?
Yeah, but I didn't. I wanted to finish with the grammar for the first months. So I put a target like 10 chapters each day or something like this to finish, in order to finish it in 1 month. And then I wanted to do a course, because I know that even though you are good or you improved your grammar, you still need a way to write your topics. So I've decided to take sentence guides.
Okay, very good. The sentenceguide.com.
Yeah, and it was not bad at all, actually. But no, frankly, Ben, it's the most important course that I took in IELTS, because I tried also with others to do a sort of practice for writing, but it was not so useful.
Really? Which courses did you do?
I've done two courses with other companies. It's not necessary to learn to list the names. And anyway, but even after after taking the courses with you, I started to write topics and to be corrected by other company, and by two teachers. So one of the teachers, she started right away to grade me higher. From before, she used to to grade me for about 6.5. It's the same at the same level of what I've got in my exam. However, right away she started to grade me, to give me a score about 7.5. So I was sure I made an improvement. However, a second teacher, when I sent for him a topic, he started to blame me about how to write an introduction about, say, for example, I'm going to speak about this matter, and giving examples from the Harvard and from, let's say, Italian government to demonstrate point and support arguments. So she started to criticize these things. No, you shouldn't put it in the introduction. I don't feel it's good. But I didn't listen and I didn't listen to him, and I fixed just on your way. And I believed in it, and it worked.
Fantastic. So what happened then? So I'm just going to give a summary for the listeners. You're at 6.5 in your writing. We'll just focus on the writing for now. You're on 6.5. You got the English grammar in use. You downloaded it. You did. Did you say 2 chapters a day? You tried to work through learning
10 chapters a day, because they are short. Yeah, but they are very short chapters.
Yes, you're right.
2 pages each chapter.
Okay. Good point. So you did 10 chapters a day. Worked through that. You did a few of the training courses as well, and you also enrolled in my course, in the sentence guide at sentenceguide.com, and you were also using other essay correction services, and one of them was saying, well done, your score's improving, and the other one was saying, don't do it like this.
He criticized a lot. Also, the conclusion, because I use in a nutshell. He said, no, this is not good. Don't use it. It's very informal. Use as a conclusion. I don't like in a nutshell. And also, he didn't like the P1 and P2, because he said that it's unnecessary to give example. For example, 60% of Italian people like to to eat pasta, let's say, or anything. He said, no, it's not necessary. Don't give numbers. Don't give. So, but I didn't.
That's interesting. You'll have to tell me after the call, or if you want, Joe, you can tell us now who this person was. Who is this? Because in the end, he was totally wrong. Because what was the score you got for your writing?
I got 7.5.
7.5. That's amazing. A whole band score, Joe.
And Ben, and I think that if I was not stressed, I could have got, for example, 8 or 8.5, because I was stressed in the exam, and I felt that the time is very short. So I wrote task 1 in about 13 minutes just.
Wow, it's pretty fast.
Yeah, because I started with task 2, because the grades or the proportion of score is more important in task 2. So I started with task 2, and then I ran out of time. So I did task 1 in just 13 minutes.
Wow, okay. Which one was it, by the way? I can't remember. Was it the academic or the general?
No, I've got the general, and I believe that sometimes there are lack in the exam. I got questions that I don't like so much to talk about, or I didn't find any interesting things to say. However, I focus just on two simple ideas. It's not necessary to, because before getting your course, I was out of focus. I had in my mind many things to say, and I thought that more you show the examiner that you have ideas, more he will be rating you, which is not true. Because in my last exam, my ideas were very short.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Yeah, this is it. I think so many students have exactly the same challenges as you just mentioned. And we have to remember that even though the question might seem sophisticated, that doesn't mean you have to give sophisticated answers. And also, we have to remember that this is a language exam, and the quality or quantity of your ideas, they have to be relevant, of course, but they don't have to be like groundbreaking, Nobel Prize winning ideas. They just have to be well structured and clearly communicated. And I think, I think this is one of the goals I had when I was setting out making the sentence guide. And so I'm glad that helped you there. But what would you say was the biggest takeaway or the biggest value from doing the course?
It was very important because first of all, I have a structure now in my mind. So it's easier to start writing, and this also saves time, because before I didn't have a structure. So I start to write whatever in my mind, and then I got confused and time passed. So I think now I have a structure. This is very important. Moreover, the sentence for task 1 also, they are very important, because as I have told you at the beginning, I did the task 1 in just 13 minutes because I had in my mind your sentences. I used them a lot. I used them many times in the essay, and this helped me to write 150 words, the minimum needed in order to avoid any penalty.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, this is it. I think if you've got the right sentences for task 1, it's so much easier, because it's just copy paste, and these sentences are exactly what's needed to write a good letter. It's all the formal ones, and I think in your case you probably just memorized them and used them exactly as you first heard them, put them in there, and bang, you can write a letter, a high-scoring letter, pretty fast.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then just work through the bullets using the sentence, work through the bullets in the question in order, and bang, 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 and you can do pretty good, high-scoring Task 1 essays relatively fast. So anyway, I just wanted to say, well done, Joe.
Thank you, Ben.
Fantastic, absolute star. And I just want to mention to everybody that Joe, he did do the sentence guide course and did help him a lot, but we've got to remember, like, he did it really sensibly. 3 months. He was practicing his grammar also. He was getting feedback and from doing the sentence guide, submitting his essays. He worked through every single module. He was submitting his ideas, getting feedback. He was submitting his essays, essay after essay. And that's why he improved so much. And he didn't tell us before, my team, that he was also sending his essays to other tutors.
just to be on the safe side. No. No, but they were not tutors. They were just to grade my exam. I didn't follow any advice. They didn't give any advice for me. They were just correcting my writing.
I see. Yeah, and I think this is one thing that we have to be aware of. Like, you can submit your essays, but they can give you the corrections, and if that's all you want, then that's okay, and they can give you some feedback. But if you needed a strategy or like a system to follow, so you can get ideas, so you can structure your thoughts, so you can attack it really fast, and strategies and systems for both Task 1 and Task 2, then a more complete course is probably the better way to go. So, Joe, let's finish up talking about the writing. Fantastic result. But one thing I want to mention, okay, actually, I'll just let you mention it. Tell us what the speaking. The speaking stayed at the same score, didn't it? Unfortunately, which was
unfortunately, I don't know why. Because I in my first exam, I was very stressed, and I didn't talk. I didn't speak or explain anything. However, in my second exam, I did better than the first. But I don't know why my grade didn't change, and I got the same grade.
It's such a shame. It's such a shame. And what were you doing to improve your speaking over the 3 months?
That's an important question. I got also the sentence guide speaking course. However, unfortunately, it helped me, but speaking is difficult. I don't know because now when speaking, I do grammar errors. However, when writing, because you can proofread, so you can correct yourself. So now, what is happening to me when I speak? I don't have time to think about the grammar. So this is sound tricky, because you have to think while you are talking, which is not feasible.
Yeah, I know.
So I think speaking, to improve your speaking, especially your grammar part in speaking, you have to practice a lot with friends, or I don't know. And in my country, I don't have foreigners, friends, or English native friends. So it's more difficult for me.
Yeah, it can be a real challenge. And the speaking, it's exactly like you said. I mean, it's two different sort of like parts of the brain, the writing mind and the speaking mind. And yeah, once you speak, exactly as you said, you can't go back and do the corrections afterwards. It just makes it more complicated. So with speaking, it's sort of like you can only get it right the first time. Yeah, it's a real tricky one. But so you did the course,
and then I took 5 hours with Philip. You know Philip?
Yeah.
From England. Yeah, he is a good guy, and I like the session with him. However, I don't know.
Yeah.
I didn't improve a lot in speaking.
I think with speaking, it comes, I mean, from my personal experience speaking languages, it comes through like time and just putting in hours and hours and hours and speaking like with native speakers, but also getting feedback at the same time. And it can be a real challenge, you know. Have you decided on a way, or are you going to get more classes in the future? How are you going to deal with this challenge going forward?
I'm browsing on internet the best things to prepare for speaking. I think watching film, because I don't watch American movies so much. So I think watching movies is important. I just to tell you, during the 3 months that I was preparing for my last IELTS, I've been watching BBC News almost every day, and every day, and every word that I don't know or I don't know explanation, I used to search it online to find the meaning. So and this helped me a lot for reading and for listening. It was very, because in my first exam, I got 8 on reading and listening, but it was difficult, more difficult than the last exam. In my last exam, I feel that they became very familiar to me. And it was easy to understand what is the topic, and with less effort, with less effort. So that's it. It's very important to listen to English talks and news. But however, I think it's better also to listen for speaking, to listen to American movies. And sometimes I try now to repeat the topic.
This is what I was going to say, Joe. Like, for the 3 months, it was excellent. You were listening to the BBC, watching it every morning and stuff, and then writing down the vocabulary and stuff. And these exercises, they're beneficial. But I was going to say that I think just from listening, that fluency would benefit you if you worked on your fluency. Yeah, because there's lots of components when we're looking at speaking. And I think in your case, building your fluency would be more beneficial than maybe building your vocabulary, because your vocabulary is very rich. But sometimes with the fluency, if you worked on that area, I am pretty certain that you would improve your score. And what you were just saying before, like you would listen and then repeat, I think personally, if you were doing that, listening and repeating, it would become a lot easier, you know, for you. And I think your score would definitely improve just by listening and repeating. And I think the best source to listen and repeat to, there's 2 actually. You can listen to mock speaking exams. I did a few recordings with native English speakers, and they just answered the questions, you know, and then you get a good idea of what kind of answers they need. And you can also just pause and repeat and get the same rhythm. Yeah. And another thing that would really benefit you is if you worked on can you do accents? Can you speak with an accent? Can you change the way you speak English and maybe speak like a Scottish person, or speak like an Australian or something like that? Because I think if you had that target, or speak like a British person, then that would help you with your pronunciation a lot. What I'm saying is that I can understand you perfectly, and it's really good, yeah? But I think if you worked on your pronunciation and your fluency, I think those 2 areas are the ones that probably lost you the points. And to work on your pronunciation, I would aim for trying to copy and mimic the BBC News presenter. It might be a little bit fast, but you just listen for 10 seconds, pause, and then just try and duplicate it, you know? And
also, Ben, I've seen an article also to improve your speaking. It's better to speak what you are reading at a loud voice. So now I'm practicing reading things at a loud voice. So
Totally.
yeah, it's I've noticed an improvement since I started to do this. Yeah,
Yeah,
and
I totally agree. I totally agree. And maybe you can read, I don't know, sample essays or news articles and stuff like that. The thing is, though, with speaking, and I don't know, a lot of people are conscious about practicing the speaking because they'll think, oh, somebody will hear me and they might think I'm silly, or they might hear me and I'm in my room speaking by myself, and it's really kind of a challenge to find the time and the space and
yeah,
the place to do it. But the thing is, it's so beneficial to do it.
and one more thing I started to do 2 days ago is to record myself. Is to put, for example, a topic or something, or like an exam, speaking exam, and to go through all the questions and record myself and to hear the playback.
Yeah,
And it's yeah, and I'm noticing that what are my weakest points.
yeah. Well, if you want, Joe, you can send me your recordings, or if you want, I can just send you some recordings of some sample answers. Yeah, I'll send you the links, actually. Sorry. And what I can do is just send you the links with the transcript and the actual student speaking, his native English speaker.
Oh, very good.
You know what I
Yeah,
mean? And then you
yeah,
you can read the transcripts, record them, and then you can listen to the native speaker as well, and just try and mimic the person, because the person who I got to do it was a friend, and he had quite a neutral accent, so that's a good sort of like standard, a good objective to go for, and I think that would definitely help. That would be
yeah.
really
Thank you.
beneficial. I'll send the links after the podcast.
I
Okay.
want also to speak about things. One major thing that, for example, if my weak point is in writing or speaking, during the 3 months that I prepared, I focused on this, and I didn't practice listening and reading. However, the 2 weeks just before the exam, I started to prepare for these models to do, for example, a test speaking and one test listening and one test reading on internet for every day, and it was also good because you can refresh up your thinking about these parts of IELTS.
Yeah, totally agree there. Totally agree.
So I suggest always to focus on your weak point, and then at the end, and before the exam for about 2 or 3 weeks to start to refresh up with other
Yeah,
parts.
yeah, I totally agree. Getting familiar with the format, getting
Yeah,
familiar with the questions, and yeah, I always see this like preparing for like athletic events or sporting events. Just getting familiar with the format, the structure. So when you do get into the exam, you're sort of like warm, you're ready, and you can just treat it like a practice exam. So you get, so you're more confident about doing it. You'll be more relaxed, and then come on exam day,
exactly.
it's
So
just
now.
smoother.
Now I'm focusing on speaking. However, before the exam, I will write every day an essay for about 2 weeks also.
Yeah, I remember there was an ex-IELTS examiner, and she said something very smart. She said, what can happen is that a student will get, I don't know, 777 and then 6 in the listening, or 6.5 in the listening. So what they'll do is they'll spend the next 3 months or the next 6 or 7 weeks just focusing only on the listening, and they let their other grades slip. So I think your style of focusing on your weakest ones with lots of preparation, like 3 months, is ideal. It's like a really good time space for some meaningful improvement. But you wait. You focus on your weakest points, and then a month before you go back and you refresh your other skills rather than just letting them slip. So yeah, great advice there.
Yeah, this is important. And also, I want to tell that the what you write is not important at all, because I had the question in task 1 in writing about how, if, for example, you heard that an airport is going to be constructed in your area, so, and you don't want to write about what are the disadvantages of an airport in your area, something like this, it didn't come to my mind that the airport is very noisy. Because this is the most important disadvantage, noise. But for me, it was traffic, so I put that it will create more traffic in the city, something like this. And when I came back home, I was talking to a friend. She said to me, no, you should have say about noise, how you are deaf or what? No, not something like this. But so I worried about this, but
no,
it didn't affect my grade at all.
Exactly. It's so sad when people think that it's the quality of your answer. It just has to be like valid. It has to be relevant. If you just said, I don't want an airport in my neighborhood because my plants will grow weaker, then that's totally stupid. It's totally irrelevant and it's not valid. You're pushing the limit. But what you're saying about traffic is absolutely valid. Okay, it might not be the first one that comes to mind. For most people, maybe a lot of people will think about noise, but it doesn't mean that that's the correct answer just because it's the first one.
Yeah, there's no correct answer. That's what I want to tell. There's no correct answer.
Yeah. You just have to argue and you have to put like a logical case forward. And just going back to task 2, you have to put a logical case forward, your position. And then this is why examples are so useful and it's such a valuable skill. And that's why there's a whole chapter developed to it in the sentence guide. But if you can put your position and then give an example, a solid example, a real world example that's believable, then bang, you've proved your case. And so I totally agree with you there. And just before we finish, what question did you get for task 2?
It was about watching sports.
Watching sports?
Is it bad, or what are the disadvantages, or if you agree that it's bad or it's a good thing? So it was like this. What is your opinion? Is it good or bad? Watching sport. But I focused, like you said in sentence guide, on just one opinion. And I said that it's good because of two things. So the first is because sport is culture. It's a part of culture and something like this. And the other thing is that it helps to relax and to chill out and to relax and those two things.
Two totally valid arguments, and there is no correct answer. If there was a correct answer, then in the preparation books you would have to study and probably memorize information and statistics about watching sports, but you didn't even know you was going to get a question about sports, so it's impossible to prepare like in that style. What you have to do, you do know that you're going to get a task 1 and a task 2, so you do need to know how to write those and how to prepare and present a strong, coherent argument, that's going to score you points. So, totally.
But Ben, I want to. Sorry, but I want. I want to just to ask you about the speaking part, because the examiner, I think she was some unprofessional, because on every question and while listening to my answer, she was not listening, and then in the middle of my sentences, she was stopping me to talk to ask another question. So she was not focusing on what I was talking.
I see.
Yeah, and at the end of the speaking, also the last question, I was in the middle of my paragraph, and she said, "That's the end of the speaking test," and she stopped me. For you understand?
Yeah. I mean, in this case, all right. I mean, if we look at it from her position, she's got maybe 10, 12, 15 people, and she's got like a certain limit for each student, maybe about between 8 and 11 minutes, and if she's got, and so she has to be a little bit strict, I mean, ideally she could have said, "I'm sorry, the speaking test has ended," or just "Thank you, but we have to cut it short," just some little polite things like that. But I don't know. But I think I would take this as a learning experience, and maybe when you're practicing doing the mock speaking exams, try and work through a whole mock exam, recording the session, and put like a timer there as well, and just keep it in your mind that, okay, there's part 1, it's probably going to be between 2 and 3 minutes, simple questions talking about you, who you are, why you want to take the IELTS, your job, your family, just simple ones to make you comfortable. Then there's the presentation. It's going to take up about maybe 2 minutes, 3 minutes, yeah. And then you've got 4 minutes of task 3 questions, which are going to be difficult. And she needs to put at least, I don't know, 3 or 4, 5 questions in there. So maybe you want to estimate 40 seconds for each answer, I mean, that's one way of training for it.
Oh yeah, I will try this. But I want to ask you, task 3 is the most is the topic or task that is the most important. The grade is just you are graded on your task 3 answers.
No.
Because they are very tricky. Sometimes I don't speak, or I had a silent moment in the last exam in one answer because I didn't know what to talk about. It was not to search for the vocabulary. It was just to think about what to answer the question.
I see.
It was very tricky. What do you think is the difference between what people used to collect in the past and what they collect at the moment?
Right. Okay.
So it's difficult.
Joe, do you have a technique to paraphrase the question just to give yourself a few more minutes? For example, you can say, collections, the differences between nowadays and in the past. That's interesting. Well, and you've just given yourself 4 or 5 seconds, or you could even just say, collections, the differences between nowadays and the past. To be honest with you, I'm not entirely sure because personally, I'm not a collector. In my spare time, I prefer to do other things, such as...
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? And you can try that, but I think instead of just letting a silent space happen, which might make you nervous, and might make the examiner... She doesn't know if you're looking for vocabulary, if you're looking for sentences, or if you just don't know the topic. But if you can just paraphrase the question and then say, well, to be honest with you, I'm not entirely certain, I'm not entirely sure about collections because it's something that I'm not a collector myself, so it's really difficult to answer, I'm sorry,
Yeah.
I think that would be the best way to get out of that situation,
But I want to ask you, an hesitation in one answer is if you hesitate in only one answer in all the speaking exam, it is going to affect your grade or not for sure?
It's difficult to say, to be honest. If you hesitate in one answer, I don't know if that would be a serious thing. And if you're hesitating all the way through, but you've also got to remember, Joe, that there's 4 components, yeah? to the exam, and it's going to affect your fluency if you are hesitant. And that's why I was saying it's probably better to paraphrase or just to use little fillers, like.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing now. I'm learning some
help you.
fillers. Like, for example, oh, that's an important question, or that's a tricky question.
Oh.
I didn't think about it before, and something like this.
And it's like just little collocations like that'll just boost your confidence, and it'll give you a few seconds more thinking time, you know? Like, and there's lots of different collocations you can do, or little fillers, you know, like, oh, that's a really good question, to be honest with you. I've never really considered it, but to be honest, I think I would probably blah, blah, blah.
And I will try also to use, because in my although I got the sentence guide speaking course, but I didn't apply it in my speaking because I was stressed in the exam. But, for the next time I will try to do that, exist general, personal, and then an example, and then the finishing, like you said in
the structures.
The structure is important.
In the sentence guide as well, there's lots of opportunities to use.
But I use the mind map. I use the mind map for task 2.
Okay, good. But there's I was going to say this. I'm sure there's a chapter about fillers. I'm sure there's an opportunity where you can practice the fillers. I'm pretty certain. And with the speaking, I tried to give a structure as well. But as we said before, it is a little bit trickier. But if you haven't worked through it, have a good work through, you know, and don't be, and you can send me emails as well asking questions like, hey, can I do this? Or would it be a good idea to do this? You know?
Thanks.
You can also ask in the Facebook group as well, because there's all the students helping each other there, you know, and I saw it the other day, you was talking with Denise and you posted your scores. One last thing, Joe, and then we're going to have to finish. But I noticed in our Facebook group for the students of the sentence guide that you put, I failed my speaking exam. Yeah, this is how you wrote it. You put, I failed my speaking exam, blah blah blah, but I did pass my writing. And at first I was like, oh no, he's failed. Oh no. And then I read it all and I was like, whoa, he's just jumped a whole band in his writing. You know, and I think what's happened there is you focused only on the negative, and you just sort of like, you know, that's where most of your attention was, because that's what you put there first.
No, because I was so stressed, because I want to finish with IELTS, but but now I applied for remark. Now I'm waiting.
Okay, all right. but what I was going to say was that. Like, it's so typical, and I do it myself, and I've got to train myself to stop it, but it's so easy just to focus on the negative, and he didn't really mention, he was like, oh yeah, but I passed my writing, you know, I just jumped a whole band score, no big deal, I failed my speaking, you know? But what I want to say is that you should be congratulating yourself, and you should be focusing on your successes, because that's where you're going to get more confidence from going forward, you know, and it's just like, okay, I jumped a whole band score in my writing, so there's no reason why I can't jump a whole band score in my speaking. If I just apply the same mentality of like focus, dedication, practice, and you can nail this. You can get it done, Joe. Trust me.
I am sure that I will do it.
Yeah, I'm pretty certain too. Okay,
but IELTS takes time. It's not automatic like some students think. It's not automatic. It's not a matter of luck.
Exactly. Yeah, that's true. I mean, sometimes there is a little bit of luck. Like I remember one student in the speaking, her speaking topic was herself. You know, so she only had to talk about herself.
Oh, no,
that's not a bad speaking topic, you know.
Yeah, so it's like that. This is task 1.
No, yeah, exactly. It's like a presentation, an extension of task 1. So she was over the moon, you know. So, but it's better not to rely on a lucky speaking exam. It's much better to put in the work and put in the preparation and do the practice. And I think it's a much more solid strategy. Okay.
One final.
Okay, this is the final one, Joe.
Yeah. I want to ask you if you have any idea what is the percentage of succeeding in remark in a remark.
I have no idea. I'm sorry. I don't think even IELTS releases that information. I don't think they release it because I don't know why actually, but I'm not entirely sure. But from my experience from students asking for remarks, it's only happened about maybe 4 or 5 times. And I can't even remember exactly, but I can't say. So sorry about that.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
That was the last one, eh? You can't.
Yeah.
Okay then, Joe. Well, thank you so much for doing this call. And remember what I said, if you've got any questions about the speaking or the writing or anything, just put them in the Facebook group or email me directly, whichever. You've got full support of my team and the group as well. Okay.
Thank you very much. Really, thanks for everything you are doing. Your course is, especially in writing, is very, very, I suggest it to everyone.
Thank you, Joe. Thank you for that.
Really. It's not just because it's your course, but I was talking yesterday to friends, and I'm very impressed by your course. It's very, very well done, and by your follow-up also.
Thank you. Yeah.
Your follow-up with student is very important, really.
Yeah. I totally agree.
I appreciate a lot your follow-up because.
Thank you, Joey. Thank you. I think, there's so many skills that we've said before, the exam skills, and there's the language skills and stuff, and it is a challenge. And I think if we can do the motivational support as well, then it's just going to increase everybody's chances of success, the students, the team, everybody. So, that's why it's fundamental. Okay then, Joe. Well, thank you very much, buddy. I'll stop recording now. And I think this podcast will probably be coming out in about 2 weeks. So you'll be world famous. And then probably after the podcast, Hello Magazine and New York Times will be contacting you.
No. No, I don't want to. I don't like this kind of thing.
Thanks for listening to IELTSPodcast.com.